About 1 year ago, I made a video exploring brewers beer bootlegging, and in the thumbnail of that video, I put a fuck ton of cazadores and the caption Hell on Earth. And 1 year later, we are visiting the birthplace of the cazadores, Z-14 Pepsinae DNA Splicing Lab. Now, when I made that video, I had just started replaying New Vegas after a long absence, and it was one of my first videos back on YouTube. And that video was fairly successful. However, I was quite a noob at fighting cazadores, because I learned very quickly from people in the comments there are two good strategies to killing them. First is just to shoot their wings, which will incapacitate them, and the second and classic one is burn it all down with fire. Now, in-game, cazadores were created in the Big MT. They were created by Dr. Borous, and he created them by splicing Tarantula, Hawk, Wasp, DNA. And yes, it is one of the most terrifying animals I have ever seen a picture of. If I ever saw one, I'd probably burn down the entire city with fire. Now, the name Splicing is for a subfamily of spider wasps, specifically the Tarantula hawk wasp, which get their name because they hunt tarantulas. Absolutely freaking terrifying. And besides Dr. Borous, Joshua Sawyer, one of the developers of Fallout New Vegas, said the idea for cazadores indeed came from a picture of a tarantula hawk wasp. So even if it is real life or in the game, cazadores were heavily influenced by tarantula hawks. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here. Welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be checking out the Z-14 Specimen DNA Splicing Lab. This lab, which as I said earlier, it was used by Dr. Borous, is located in the eastern part of the map, almost directly east of the think tank. Now, I approached from the south, so I kind of came up on this facility from the side, but we have this large staircase leading up to a double door, and of course at the bottom we have the Z-14 sign. Now, as we approach, there are some boxes and stuff on the outside, including a foot locker. However, there was nothing really notable inside of any of these containers for me, but a lot of the times it is just random. And of course, next to the door, we have red markings from Ulysses, indicating a hostile location. And as we enter, we find a very disturbing scene. Blood and guts are littered around the room, indicating some kind of violent situation that obviously happened here. Perhaps it was splicing, perhaps humans were massacred. Now in those lockers we can find some proton throwing axe along with one on this table next to a chemistry set which we can use to make stim packs or chems. As we come downstairs there is a tool cabinet, but be careful. Otherwise you'll be jump scared by these cazadores like I was. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, killing them is actually relatively easy if you aim for their wings like I was here in VATS, or you can use fire to just burn them to a crisp. Whichever one you like, you should do. Did want to point out, however, cazadores in the Big MT are a little bit stronger, and they do drop more poison glands than their Mojave counterparts. Now, as we enter this kind of bottom area, there is a foot locker in the mound there with some random loot inside. We have these two doors on both sides as we come on in, and if you look at your radar, you will see some frantic movement from an enemy, which are obviously cazadores. However, these cazadores are really easy to deal with. As soon as you open the door, just use VATS, target their wings, and they're pretty harmless, actually. Through the double doors, we have an exceptionally strong cazadore, Specimen 73, which is even stronger than a legendary cazadore. However, if we aim for its wings like we've been doing, it's actually relatively harmless. And if you keep killing cazadores in the Big MT, you will do additional damage against them in the game. On Specimen 73, we have an atomic valence tri-radi oscillator, which will regenerate your health, increase your endurance by 1, and also we can find an auto dock upgrade implant M5 on the table there. But besides that, that pretty much covers all of the notable loot within this facility. Besides that, there's just a few cazadores left to kill, and of course we can take their poison glands, and there are also some cazador eggs in the back of this facility if you need them. But here's another cazador, again, easy to take out. But I kind of got scared just because, I don't know, I still have trauma from when I was a child and I played this game. But cazadores are no longer as scary as they used to be. If we follow this path and kind of go towards the back, we'll find 2 more doors, but there are no cazadores in these doors. However, we can find a lot of blood and guts in this one with some cazador eggs. Don't know what happened in there. And in here we can find a skeleton, a laser rifle, and then an ammunition box with some microfusion cells and some microfusion cells on the floor. Now, I did mention this in my last video, but I figured I'd go ahead and say it again. But behind Z-14, there is a toolbox that has random healing items and chems inside of it. There's also this wooden crate that just had some ammunition for me. Also worth mentioning, the first time you approach Z-14, there will probably be a lone cazador in the area that you will have to kill. However, when I approached in this video, I had already killed this cazador when I was exploring the nearby Big MT East Tunnel. Now, one last thing I wanted to mention is Dr. Borous denies that cazadors can reproduce and have escaped the Big MT. But obviously, by what has happened in the Mojave and Zion Valley, cazadors are not only, well, in Mojave and Zion Valley, but they are prospering and reproducing very quickly, and they pose a huge threat to the people of the post-apocalypse. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned a thing or two about Fallout New Vegas or about the real world. Both the fictional and non-fictional worlds can be so terrifying. If you guys have any ideas or recommendations for future videos or future ideas, please post them in the comment section below, and as always, until next time.